Hello, everyone. It's time for me to give 5 players to pick up week 2 of the fantasy football season. It's extremely important to capitalize off these waivers and free agents because it's after week 1 and you could kind of tell who's going to be legit and who's not. It's a good telltale. And you could also see on your team who you may need to drop. You might have just drafted him and he's not going to cut it this year. So let's begin. I'm going to start with the quarterback. He's only owned in 36% of Yahoo leagues. It's quarterback Philip Rivers. And Rivers, he looked very good last night. He threw for 4 touchdowns. He did have a pick six, but that's not too much to worry about. But it looks like he's going to have he might have a bounce back year. And as a backup quarterback, I think he's a very good option. He he doesn't usually turn the ball over, especially I know last couple years he has, but if he's anything like he was a couple years ago, he won't get many turnovers. And if they're throwing the ball as much as they did last night, I think he would be a perfect fit. He was throwing a very nice deep ball. I'm not saying Philip Rivers will be your starter on your fantasy team, but he'd be a decent backup. People that have like someone Ben Roethlisberger or they experiment with like a Ryan Tannehill or Andy Dalton or something like that. Philip Rivers would be a good backup, maybe replacing them or kind of being behind them just in case they don't do as good, especially with like someone like Roethlisberger. Rivers is a perfect backup, also a fill-in starter, and great trade bait down the road, which is kind of what you want to do after the first week when you pick up someone. Trade bait down the road is always big. Next, going to go with the running back. It's Jack. I don't know, some sort of Bell. I didn't really watch the Lions game, but I do know that he is a dual threat for the Lions. He did have, I believe, 5 catches, and no, yeah, I think he had like 5 catches, so he had a good bit of catches. But the big thing with him is he looks like he's going to be the goal line back. It looks like they're going to take out Reggie Bush in goal line situations. So Joique Bell, it looks like, as a backup, I'm not saying he's going to be RB1 or RB2, maybe an RB3, definitely an RB4, especially if you're weak in those positions or a guy got injured. He's good to have, just to see what happens. Also, Reggie Bush is very injury prone. I know he's banged up already, so Bell could get more carries in the coming weeks. I would pick him up for sure, and he's only owned 36% of leagues as well. Next, wide receiver. I'm going to go with Washington Redskins receiver Leonard Hankerson. And, he had a very good day yesterday. He had the 2 touchdowns. I don't expect that every day. But he's a big target. I believe he had 7 targets in the game yesterday. As a good backup wide receiver, I would take him. It looks like RG3 and him really connected well. He, is that big red zone target, like I said. And he did improve from last year. His rookie season, he didn't really play much. Last year, I believe according to ESPN, he had over like 550 yards, something like that, and a few touchdowns. So he's improved. So maybe he'll take the next step this year. Say if you get 800 yards, 5, 6 touchdowns, pretty good year for a fourth, fifth wide receiver on your team. So Leonard Hankerson, I would pick him up. Next, wide receiver, you got to pick up this guy, Brian Hartline. He's owned in only 46% of leagues, so if you have a smaller league, he probably is definitely available. He had a big week last week. Last year, he was Ryan Tannehill's favorite target, and he still is. He had 15 targets. You got to pick this guy up. If he's available on the player wire, you got to get him. He can be, he's a good third receiver option for you. He doesn't catch a lot of touchdowns, but dang, in a PPR league, and especially in terms of yardage, he gets a lot of that. He had over 1,000 yards last year. He probably will do that again this year. I mean, as much as he's being targeted, his stock dropped when they brought in Mike Wallace, but it's clear in Miami that Brian Hartline is still Ryan Tannehill's guy. I would pick up Brian Hartline in a heartbeat if he's available. And the last player I'm going to discuss today is tight end Kellen Winslow of the Jets. It's clear that he is Geno Smith's favorite target, and he's only owned in 6% of Yahoo leagues. I would pick him up right away. I mean, as a backup tight end, he's great. Probably as a starter as well. Maybe wait a week on that before you start him. But it's clear that Geno Smith, likes to go Winslow, which is common with the rookie quarterback. They like the security blanket of a tight end. Kellen Winslow's been in the league for a lot of years, is a very good pass catcher. It's kind of surprising he's only owned in 6% of leagues. I guess people thought, the Jets quarterback situation. But Kellen Winslow, definitely I would pick him up this week. You could tell that he is Geno Smith's favorite target. They're going to go to him a lot. And if they ever do get in the red zone a lot, Kellen Winslow will be there. Excellent backup tight end, if not fringe starter for sure. Well, thank you guys for watching my fantasy football pickup week, I guess you would say. So you guys have a nice day.
Anything goes, anything goes. You never know what we're gonna show on Anything Goes.